Another person that you worked with, you mentioned Shakur, you beat his cousin in the amateurs, and I'm sure, there's been a little fun competitive trash talking,
Yeah.
throughout. You sparred him before or after? It was actually before you fought Zay, right?
No, it was after because they came down to Colorado when Bud was in the Errol Spence camp. And
Okay,
that was in July. And I fought Zay in June.
got it. So when that happened, the sparring was Shakur like, I gotta get you
Oh
for
yeah.
my cousin. Was that kind of how it played out a little bit?
Yeah, it was some good work. Back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was some good work.
Overall, what would you say, same kind of set of questions. Is Shakur's defensive paralysis match what people claim? Like he's that's smart defensively, would you say?
Yeah, I think out of all the fighters I've been in the ring with, Shakur definitely got the best defense for sure.
Yeah. And just what
Yeah.
what made it, is it just his sense of distance or timing to get out the way? Like what would you
His distance, he got great footwork, and he also has a great jab as well. I feel
Mhm.
like his jab is slept on.
Do you think his power gets slept on? Because people always look at, other people and say like, they're knockout artists and he kind of picks his shots carefully.
In my opinion, you know, I feel like when people talk about his power, it's like, I mean, you don't just see anybody go in there and running after him. Like he got to have some type of power to keep you off of him. You're not just gonna rush in there and just swing. So he's obviously got some type of power to keep them off of him.
Obviously, there's been a fight announced with him and Floyd Schofield. Did you get to see Floyd in the amateurs?
Yeah, actually, I came up with Floyd in the amateurs. He's a couple years older than me, but shoot, I seen him at almost every national. I honestly think it's gonna be a pretty good fight.
Yeah, you think
Yeah,
because I'll put my honest opinion out there, right? I think because Shakur, the silver medalist, multi-division world champion, has fought champions. This is a huge step of Floyd Schofield,
right,
and he should be the favorite. I mean, as the underdog and not the favorite in
right.
this sense. So, does he really have a chance to go and make something happen against a guy who has been known as, like you said, probably one of the best defensive guys that you got to work with?
In my opinion, I feel like everybody got a chance in that ring until the fight's over with because all it takes is one punch to end the fight. And
Hmm.
until the fight's over with, I'm gonna be like, I don't know, it could anything could happen, because it's boxing. But I think him being a young, hungry fighter, I think he does got a chance. But Shakur is one of the pound for pound boxers, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna go in there and improve why he's one of the best.
Do you think it's a little too soon for Floyd? You think he should have, coming from a fighter's mindset to take your career from here and then jump up, or is it just sink or swim? Sometimes you just gotta just take the
Nah,
opportunity.
nah, I feel like Floyd, he's 22 years old. He's been pro for I think about 4 or 5 years. His last fight was actually a great fight for him. I forgot who the guy was that he fought, but it was a tough guy. He got dropped,
Hmm.
but he showed dog. He got back up and finished the fight and everything. So I feel like it ain't too early, it's like he's fighting the best, so why not take that opportunity?
When you mention the best, like, is that you think he's the best in the weight or one of the best? Because I know obviously Tank
Or
and everyone.
yeah. He's one of the best fighters I feel like in the world. He's top 10 pound for pound in the world, Shakur is. So he's
And
either way it goes, if he goes in there, uh I'm not even like, not even on the loser's mentality or nothing, but he's young and he's going in there, win or lose, he's going in there to fight the best. So people got to give him credit for that.
yeah, kind of like Canelo when he lost to Floyd. If that happened, he
Yeah.
got better and stuff.
It's a part of boxing. People lose and they be so scared of losing. It's like people don't get to see the fights that they want to see because everybody want to protect their own.
Hmm. I was gonna follow up and ask. Tank and Shakur. Right now, it feels like a fight that doesn't seem like it's going to happen, and sometimes that happens in boxing, but it's a fight that everyone wants to see, right? The two guys
Right.
that's been matched throughout the years, both similar in size too, right? Um, do you see a Shakur and Tank fight being 50-50, seeing that you got to work with Shakur? Is that one of those top fights that need to happen? And how do you see that playing out without, giving a prediction if you don't have one?
Man, I think that's a 50-50 fight because we haven't seen Tank. I haven't seen, in my opinion, I don't think we've seen any fighter that could box as good as Shakur in there with Tank, and then we haven't seen anybody in there that's like got the IQ of Tank in there with Shakur.
Hmm.
So I think it's a 50-50 fight. Really, I feel like whoever has the better night will get that
Hmm.
decision or will get the victory.
You know, I hear that all the time, right? Like whoever has the better night, right? And
Right.
when it comes into that, is that just the mindset, right? Like you had no problems outside the ring, no injuries, you were, you ate well, you had a good weight cut, you're happy. Like it really comes down to that type of mindset or that type of day to beat that
Yeah,
other guy.
I think so. When you got two top level boxers, it's like whoever had the better camp, like, somebody could have been having things going on outside the ring and that could have messed with their mental for the fight. And the other fighters had a clean, perfect 8-week training camp. So like he would have the edge in that fight.
Got it, got it. Obviously, you would love to see the fight, just like
Yeah, that
everybody
would be
else.
it would be a great fight. I think it happens though. Next year for sure. I think it happens. Why wouldn't it happen?
I mean, Tank says he's gonna do retirement, you know what I mean? And he's just kind of, just kind of feeling like, I'm kind of gonna ent leave this boxing world soon. So,
Yeah, well, Tank's one of them guys, man. He's gonna fight the best before he retires.
mm,
And this Lamont Roach fight, in my opinion, is slept on. Like Lamont Roach is still a world champion, and I think this is gonna be a great fight right here. No, we're not seeing Shakur versus Tank right now at this moment, but it's still a great fight.
bro, every legitimate fighter, even promoters like Eddie Hearn, like everybody has not downplayed the fight. Like I've heard
Right.
fans clearly because they want to see the marquee names face each other, but everybody I know, including yourself, it's like, yo. Do not sleep on this Lamont Roach fight. This is a very good fight. Do you
Right.
think it's frustrating as you see certain fights get made, but they don't get the attention that, like a Shakur or Tank or a Loma Tank? Do you feel like when you see it as a fan, like, yo, that's a great fight. You go on social media and they're like, man, this is terrible. This is a horrible
Yeah,
fight.
I feel like it's disrespectful. Like a lot of people are disrespecting Lamont Roach. I feel like, man, that dude, he gave boxing his whole life and he's a world champion. So for people just to sleep on him like that, I feel like it's disrespectful. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna go in there and beat Tank, but I'm gonna say I think it'll be a pretty good fight and Tank deserves his credit for winning this fight if he goes in there and does his job.
Now I know everybody's different. I think he's like an 11-time national. You're a 15-time national. So like
Right.
what does it take to become, I guess, 10 plus national world champion? I guess to kind of explain
Uh
for the people who don't know that type of amateur background.
Man, you have to go to these national tournaments and fight the best fighters in the world at your age and your weight class 4 or 5 days in a row. They're about to they're about to fight all the young fighters in America is about to fight next week in the nationals and I've been seeing so many stacked weight classes. They're about to fight for 7 days in a row. And it just reminds me from when I was an amateur, like, dang, we really fight that many days in a row. You have to make weight every single day. You're going against the other best fighters in the nation. So it's definitely not easy to just go win those nationals.
Is there anyone that stands out to you that's going to be competing that will be like essentially coming underneath your guys' wing and your generation afterwards?
Yeah, my little bro Jerome Penrose, he come up in my gym. I definitely think he's a great upcoming fighter. He's young, he's 14, but I feel like in a couple of years when I finally get my foot all the way through the door in the pros, I have him right behind me.
That's awesome. Kind of like a Bud Shakur or Shakur Keyshawn kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
Mentioning of Keyshawn, you worked with him too. You you kind of hinted like, yo, Keyshawn's nice, right?
yeah.
He had a great performance against Gustavus Lemos, like came in overweight. He's gonna be coming up soon, maybe for a title opportunity, maybe with Baranchek. What do you think about Keyshawn and how does he fare with, some of the work that you've done with Bud and Shakur?
Uh, Keyshawn, I feel like Keyshawn one of the best fighters in the world. He's not even though he only has what like 13, 14 fights, he's
Hmm.
a 25, 26-year-old grown man. So he has all the amateur experience, all the world experience. So he definitely one of the best fighters I've been in there with. I learned a lot working with Keyshawn as well. Keyshawn, I feel like Keyshawn, he's a a switch fighter. Like he could cut the switch on and off. He could box if he wants to, or he could cut on that dog. And in his last fight, he like his boxing was so crisp against Lemos, and he missed weight by that much. So I feel like that showed a lot of people like Keyshawn is really a dog.
When you got to work with Keyshawn, right? It feels like he kind of has the spectrum, like you said, boxer, but also fighter, right? You mentioned like he
Yeah,
also likes to fight. Does he
yeah.
have like pop that a solid shot that could probably put a lot of people's lights out if he lands it correctly? Like, would you consider like I guess a power puncher? Does Keyshawn have a
Yeah,
uh
I think probably out of all the fighters I sparred, I probably would say Keyshawn has the most pop for sure. Me and Keyshawn, we be talking trash to each other when we spar too. Uh, we do a whole bunch of rounds, talking back and forth. But it's all love at the end of the day. I feel like Keyshawn, yeah, he probably do got the most power out of everybody I sparred for sure.
People kind of compared him a little bit to like Bud when it comes to like boxing and coming forward. Obviously, he's right now being trained with B&B Academy. Do you see similarities with Keyshawn and Bud that they kind of have a little bit? And if so, what are those like same kind of things you see?
I would say probably how they finish the fights. You know, Bud and Keyshawn are both like phenomenal fight finishers. When they get somebody hurt, the fight's over with. You'll never see Keyshawn or Bud get somebody hurt and then the fight continue. They're getting them out of there. So I feel like that is about the same, but I feel like they got two different styles though. Bud is like more of a counter puncher, setting up traps, and then I feel like Keyshawn is a more of a work off his jab and work his way into making somebody make a mistake. They're
Makes the
both
most.
counter punchers, but a different type of style of counter punching, if you get what I'm saying.
Terrence is kind of like an offensive counter puncher where he kind
Yeah,
of takes a chance a little
yeah,
bit and
yeah. That's what I think. Yeah, for sure.
then Keyshawn sets up. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously they're
yeah,
different, but I see
yeah,
what you mean. Now getting back to you, right? I just kind of wanted to just talk about obviously some of the great opportunities you've been in the ring with your amateur backgrounds. I mean, if anyone's watching, now obviously like, yo, I gotta watch this kid, right?
right.
Clearly, he's in the boxing world and he's gonna be breaking out real soon. With your goals of going into 2025, you get past your opponent this year on Red Owl on the Zone on the 13th in December. How active do you want to be? Is there certain promotional companies that you're thinking about working with? Have you been reached out with some of these guys? Just what's your ultimate plan of 2025?
The plan is definitely fight 5 to 6 times. This year was like a kind of a slow year, only fighting 3 times. It had me frustrated, because I wanted to be in the ring more, but stuff happens and out of my control. But next year I'll definitely be in there 5 or 6 times. That's the main goal for now. And everything else that comes along the way, then it we'll just execute.
You're only 19 years old and
Yeah. So
it's
it's
a
no
lot of
rush. I ain't in no rush right now, only 19. I could take my time.
and has been thinking maybe top rank or maybe a PBC or Matchroom. Have you been thinking a little bit about working with big promotions or is ultimately like your goal something else?
Um, I mean, that's kind of hard to say. I've got a couple offers, but I feel like right now what my dad has planned is just the best route right now, what we're doing. So, eventually we will sign, but we're just taking our time a little bit.
But you're sought out
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna announce it with exact promotion company, but yeah, most definitely next year, we'll be announcing who we sign with.
Does it kind of like your eyes, right? Like some people jump straight, they jump on amateurs, they get a big promoter behind them, essentially get the promotion. Like this is the next guy. You either got Bob praising them or Eddie doing the mouthpiece or De La Hoya and Bernard. So do you like the fact that you kind of went through this route to kind of go through the professional scene a little bit, feel it out before you kind of make a decision on where you want to go? You think that was a
Yeah,
good
most
experience?
most def because it's like every fight right now we're learning together as a team, but we're learning like the business side of it,
Hmm.
like how it is to go fight in different places with different platforms. And like I'm free, so I could go fight wherever I want, win. So it's definitely like a good learning experience right now what we're doing.
It takes a lot of patience because a
Yeah,
lot of people want to just jump straight on like a big broadcasting network like DAZN or Top Rank or even Amazon Prime and just get the attention of like, yo, look at me, right? Big time
right.
boxer fight out the amateur. So I do think it's good that you guys are taking the time to learn the business and really excited to see what happens next. But what is happening next is going to be on December 13th in Texas, Red Owl on DAZN. And with your consistency, this year, 3 fights, that's still active. And next year, hoping to go 5 and 6. What do you want to tell the fans out there that when they see you step in the ring as David Daly on like I said, December 13th?
And tune in for a show. I'm ready to let off some fireworks in this fight. I'm mad 'cause I ain't fought since May, so he got to pay for this right here. And I just want to put on a show for y'all, and I want to be the next star that y'all talk about. So just tune in and watch this journey.
Awesome. And what can they follow on social media? And quick question while you're giving out your social media, I believe it's the bank PR, right?
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm Puerto Rican, so yeah,
Okay,
yeah. But my Instagram is Real Troy Nash, and then my Twitter is Real Troy Nash as well.
got it. And is that your nickname, the bank?
Yeah, the bank, yeah, because I'm
Why?
guaranteed money.
That's
Yeah,
what's up.
I had to earn that nickname last June.
Why? From like who gave it to you, or why did you have to earn it? Like what was the story behind it?
One of my friends, it was a big bet on me, and it was a large amount of money put on me, and I came through, got the dub. So since then, my friend from New Mexico been calling me the bank, and that's how we've been rocking since.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, look, I appreciate the time. Wish you the best, and be tuning in next week for your fight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.